All right, let's look into a basic term of A Course in Miracles. It's usually a term that spells your doom.
Ego.
Or the reason the book is written, and it is the idea of separation. Let's just look at that a little bit before we jump into tonight's reading. And so what we'll do is we'll think, just sort of look into what you think separation means. What do you think it means? Where does it sit in your mind? What is separation? And what does A Course in Miracles mean by separation? Let's take a look and see where you are. So should we start out simple? What does it mean? What does separation mean? Dictionary definition.
Disconnected.
Disconnected. Anything else? It's disconnected. What else?
Separation means there's two things.
Aha. There's some number of things. They can be counted. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Not one.
Individual things. Yeah, just a lot of individuals.
Yes. Individual things with their own qualities
Right.
and differences. That's how you can tell one from the other, because they're individual things.
Right.
They're not all, it's not two identical things even. She's saying, well, they're actually different. They're individual things. You can tell this one's, these two pillows are just radically different. Hey, where does that thought go? What else? Wendy, what does separation mean?
Popkins.
Yeah.
It's my perception.
What does separation mean? Dictionary definition. What does it mean? What would you tell a little kid, a little 6-year-old kid? What does separation mean?
Well, I know it's like misperception.
No, give it to me like a 6-year-old. Don't tell me Course in Miracles. Dictionary.
It's when mommy and daddy split up.
That's what happened to your first daddy. He was here, and now he's not. Get it?
You see things apart from one another.
Mm-hmm. Things are apart from one another. Yeah. It's apart. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're different. They're individual. You can count them. Anything else? Separation?
Mm-hmm.
Separate?
Anything else?
Well, what else? Before we go on? Separation? Separate? How do you define it?
One thing is to be a hell of a quiet planet.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, let's go to that. What's the benefit of separation?
The benefit of separation is that you're never separated. You communicate telepathically, all right, some other way. There's no need to vocalize anything.
No, if you are separate,
Yeah.
what's the benefit?
If you're separate,
How does it work?
You're individual.
How does
doesn't work.
How does being an individual benefit you? How does being one among many benefit you? How does special? If I'm an individual and I'm not identical to the other one, you know what?
You're single.
I'm single and special.
You're single special.
I can have more.
You
I can have more
you
suffering
can
if I
have
suffer.
more.
You have 2 cheeseburgers.
That's
if
right.
You're single.
You can have more.
You
If you know what you like, you can reward yourself of more of what you like because you're an individual. And there are certain things you like that he doesn't like, so you can go get them. And if there are things that you like and she likes too, Well, the more you have than she has, this is for proof that you have more. Yeah.
And there's things you don't like that you can avoid.
Right.
Yes.
There's a benefit.
Yes.
There's a benefit. You guys tracking with that one? If everything's identical, they all have the same bad things too. But if you can be different, you can shed those bad things off, more of the good thing, less of the bad thing. You could be happier. You with your separation. Because you can be different.
Yeah. That's where my ego is. Yeah.
Well, it's not separate.
Mommy and Daddy are happier now separate. Yeah. What?
I was thinking we need separation. It's a learning tree.
Yes.
If you didn't have it, and what's the use of this?
Uh-huh. What are you learning?
That it's not real.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
That it's in your mind.
Uh-huh. And separation is going to show you that separation is not real?
Well, no, the course does.
Okay.
But separation is a tool
Mm-hmm.
we need
Mm-hmm.
to learn that it's not real.
Mm-hmm. Course says, yes.
It's useful.
Yes, so the Course would say that, in that now with this bloody mess that you have made, and
Separate mess.
yes, a separate, miserable mess that you have invested in and believe is real, the Holy Spirit will come in using the same symbols for separation you've invested in and show you the unity and show you that the costs of separation are not real. But Jesus, what about the benefits of separation? Look at Carol over there. She has more. And this looks good on her.
She has more separation.
She's got more of what she likes. And look at Claudia over there. She has less of what she doesn't like. There were some things that came along with the package at some point, and she said, you know what, I'm done with that. And there goes Daddy. There goes problems. Because she decided to go with what she likes. And she got happier. So separation is teaching her happiness. And Michaeline, special. Kind of lives in a special
Fantasy world.
world. She lives in a...
Oh.
Don't we
My
all?
mother used to tell me that when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if we went to her house, we would see her special things.
Yes.
Did she-
Oh, yeah. My books. Yeah. My trinkets.
Mm-hmm. And some clothing that looks particularly good on you.
Clothing, yeah.
I mean, you know the right colors to wear, right?
I know.
Avoid that, yellow, orange, or whatever,
Yeah.
and wear the blacks and the reds. That's how to make it work.
That's the day I feel alive, is I wear red.
Uh-huh. He's special. Knows how to do it. Yes, yes, yes. We all have that. It's pretty useful.
But this was not the origin of what was supposed to be what is.
Yes?
It's the opposite.
Okay, first of all, nothing was supposed to be. That isn't. I can say this to you. Because of your journey beyond
Oh,
words.
okay. I'm thinking in terms of where this cleared from the planet. Okay.
Okay.
This whole business of separation.
Uh-huh.
We all became one.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yes.
That's what we're all seeking for.
Yes. Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because this is
She's special. She's free of trouble, things, and knows how to get rid of
Do
more.
they know?
She has more, and it looks good on her.
Do they know?
I'm just
But
telling
you
you,
see-
look at the smile on her face. Do you look at her? This is an accomplished. That is an accomplished woman. This is a special woman. That is a freed woman. She was in chains and she took them off. Other people still have those chains, and she says, look, I don't know if I can help you or not, but I don't have them anymore, and I like it, and I'm keeping it that way. He says, hey, I'm different from other people. I got my own number. He does. He's number one. What does that make the rest of us? Let's see. Well, 2, and then 3, and then, well, you're 4 or 5. Okay, you're 4, you're 5.
-1, -2.
Never 10, though.
But he has his own number. He's willing to say we're all... Can you guys sit apart, maybe? It'd be better. You talk a lot. Work on that. So he's willing to say everybody's all the same,
Yeah.
but I got my number. We can be counted. Separation has very particular, deep benefits. Don't deny this, because you'd be denying something very powerful, because here you are, sitting in a separate place, in a separate existence, drunk and completely, deeply believing in separation.
Yeah.
Anyone argue with me that maybe you don't believe in separation? Somebody want to take that?
Well, I disagree with it now. I mean,
Okay.
well, if you're talking about the human definition of the dictionary definition.
Mm-hmm.
But if we go towards the Course, it's the illusion that we've separated from God.
Mm-hmm.
That is really the core of our being different and not like others and judgment. And
So let's talk about that. Now let's go in that direction. So now we've got sort of the benefit of separation illustrated some. We're all soaking it up. We're all doing it out of choice or by habit, but we're
Plus
doing
then
it.
we can feel connected.
Okay.
If you're separate,
Yes.
you can go, oh, I know you. I know you. Now we're connected. And that always kind of feels good.
So that,
But you have to be separate. Start off separate.
Yes.
Feel that connection.
and then you can experience a special connection.
yeah.
The special relationship has this 2 different separate things that choose to be together. And it's really exciting because you're not together with him and her, but you are with her. But you're right. What a contrast. What a thing to enjoy. Who was I before I met you?
I was nobody.
What are you, plastic crown?
And now we're together. Wow. I'm so much of a better man now that I know you. Just want you to know that. Yeah, that's great. We should get married. Yeah. Sure.
Pretty revealing.
I never wanted to marry anybody before in my life, but you're the one. It's very exciting when you're separate, and then suddenly you feel like you're not separate anymore. You know, you feel differently, and yeah, how exciting is that? You want to give that up? Okay, so we got a lot of benefits of separation that we wouldn't talk about in a Course in Miracles meeting, because we're always talking about unity and specialness should be over, and let's not feed the ego. Let's be holy and one-minded and right-minded, right?
Would separation on this planet exist if there was no ego? Ever?
Would there be a planet?
So it keeps the ego alive.
Would there be a planet?
For me,
Keeps
it's
the ego alive?
a sword in the butt.
Yes. Of course, defines the ego as a thought system of separation.
Right.
Is a thought system, right?
Of separation.
Of separation.
It's a thought system.
So would you label it depression?
Well, depression is when something is happening that you don't want. So it's not depression, it's exuberation. Look at her. Yes! I have more. I'm special. I have just the right colors at home, she says. I've got my kitchen finally outfitted the way I want it.
But I was saying,
So that's not depressing. It becomes depressing when something is happening that you don't want.
When other people are doing things that you have no control over.
People, maybe your
things.
body. Maybe suddenly you found out your bank account was drained by a, what do they call it?
Another special
theft?
person.
Another special person with special computer skills. Especially took your account. eBay got hacked. 148 million. 148 million passwords. That's bigger than most countries. That's depressing.
What about the passwords?
Some special person with computer skills broke into eBay. They put out a notice to change your password right away, please.
I
Change
forgot mine, so
password.
I can't
Right
Is
away.
that for real?
Yes, for real.
I'll have to tell my husband that he's on there all the time.
Yeah. Well, as soon as he logs on, next time he logs on, they're going to tell him. So that's depressing. But it's not depressing while you're working it, while you're using it. And that's why Course in Miracles in chapter 14 points out we need a happy learner. What he means is, if you're forced to read this book, you won't be happy. If you love your life, you love your separate little private identity, and all I got to do is work a little harder and I'll be twice as happy. Just get my income up above that number, and then I'll be able to make it all work.
Don't do it.
That's will make it all work. If those kind of pursuits are really what you believe, what your faith is, you won't be happy doing this. You will get depressed. You'll put it down. Because must be something better to read than this. This is work. Why would you even want to? You wouldn't. Really.
Not that you know.
Not that you know. Sometimes it doesn't go as well because you don't have enough money yet. So you think, God, I wish I was more peaceful. I'll read this and get some peace. But what I really want, as soon as I can get the salary up and get that right partner, get the old partner out, new partner in, then, I can just go on with living a great life. I already know how to do it. I'm just looking for a few pointers on how to get past the upsets today. Because today was so tough and rough. I got depressed. And I got unhappy. And I lost faith in the salary and the perfect partner. So I'll turn to Eckhart Tolle, Marianne Williamson, Course in Miracles, Adi Ashanti,
3 years on the
Oprah
bench.
Winfrey.
3 years on the bench. Eckhart. So
Yeah.
He lived on the bench.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
In Canada.
Yes.
For 3 years.
Yes. Okay, so now, recognize there are benefits to separation that maybe you have or have not thought about. And keep that in mind. Never underestimate the ego.
Oh.
It dangles sweet things that we probably deeply have accepted as true. So when we move into our spiritual discussions, recognize the cost.
Wait. Watch out.
Watch out. This is an all or nothing game. It's an all or nothing game. Either, see, do I know where that phrase is? It's a wonderful phrase. It's only a maybe, so we won't try. But it says, either the body is real or the spirit is real.
Oh yeah, I read that recently.
One or the other.
Right. It's not good.
And what you choose, that will be real for you. One or the other. So when we get into the spiritual aspects of our studying, there's a cost. There is a cost. Now when you're in your right mind, you say, I'll take that cost, because that cost is my pain, my fear, my disappointments, all my shattered dreams, all the difficulties that just keep coming up, all the good things that turned bad. Yes, I'll pay that price. Where do I sign, and how soon can I get started leaving it behind? now this book is a joy. Reading this book is a joy because it helps you understand how to let go of that weight that you keep putting in front of your face. Maybe by habit, okay? Maybe by belief. That's okay too. In fact, it's true. We all believe separation is real. We all idolize separation. We worship it with just about every thought we have. That's why we're here to practice going the other way. And then if you can get the idea of letting go of separation just for a few seconds and you feel lighter, relief, you feel empowered, you might turn the page even and continue. You might even do the workbook to get more of that power, more of that freedom. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah. But please, do recognize that there is a cost to letting go of your old thoughts, your stinking thinking. These thoughts are the ones you rehearse that makes you suffer. It's where the pain and suffering comes from. That's why I think most of us are here. It's like, there is a better way, and maybe this has it, maybe it doesn't, but I know there's a better way and I'm going to go check it out. Never let go of that. Because that makes you lighter, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is what enlightenment is. It's a path of choosing the lighter steps, which leads you to the awareness of love right now.
It's funny you brought this up because I went for an hour walk one way,
Yep.
and another hour walk this way on the beach,
Okay.
down on Palm Beach.
Yep.
I ended up almost going to the PG Towers, and I was just walking. I was just thinking about every little thing about this classroom, about this body, what's in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was kind of looking at that spirit being housed in it. In my body, and I'm a runner, but I couldn't run. I haven't been running, but the thing is, I went for this long walk, and I started looking at everything around me. I was looking at, just the material aspect of everything, like the housing, and I'm looking, and I don't know, I was kind of feeling this weird feeling about having this spirit in me, just being in spirit, and then walking, I was just like walking, I go, man, beachfront property, just within this body, and I had to take care of it, and I took my shoes off. And I wanted to be really in tune with this water and this sand, and I walked, and I was just like, really? That was just a glimpse.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it felt so good.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and then when I saw you doing yoga,
Yeah.
that Oga yoga, whatever,
Yeah.
I just, we're in control of it. And that's why I brought up depression. I go, am I going through some type of depression? That's allowing me to be disconnected, so I don't know, I just had to get out of that thought frame.
Good.
I don't know, I'm just fighting things as I go.
Fine. Good. Good vector. Because that's the same kind of wandering thoughts where you were going to release the old and accept the new, and the new might be much smaller than the old. But if it feels empowering, if it feels enlightening, it feels freeing, it's the right way to go. It's the right way to go. It feels freeing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why would you do it? Tell me more about this, Mario, or anybody else. Why would you let go of the dream here of separation and all the promises here?
Suffering.
Suffering. Hello. Hello. She says, geez, I've tried really hard at making the separation thing work. And it's just the suffering is...
It's just like you said, the suffering. It's like I was suffering. My body wasn't in tune with my thinking.
Oh.
And so when I was walking, I was like, wait a minute.
Wait. Say that again. Say that again. That's good. Stop the body.
It's not in tune with your thinking.
Not in
It's
tune
not in tune with your thinking.
with your thinking. That's depressing. Because something's happening that you don't want. The thinking
It's the cause.
will proceed beyond the emotions and memories. This is important. So often, the heart and the mind will go in opposite directions. Opposite directions. Because the mind has an idea of healing, of what to let go of, because it hurts so much. I'm going to stop hurting as soon as I figure out how. That's the mind. But the body, the address maybe, the investments of all types say, not today. I'd rather keep my fear thoughts and attack thoughts, because at least I know how to handle this person or this situation. But that's depressing, because I'd rather not be afraid, and I would rather not attack or defend. Especially if you read this book after a while, you think, this attack-defense stuff, it's not so good. It has a high cost.
Very high.
Indeed.
There's a short-term buzz and a long-term cost. Sometimes. Yes. Thank you. Okay, Masako.
Well, I find that this whole thing about separation is there is inherently in me that is always saying that I'm not enough. I'm not enough. So I got to go into my world and prove that I'm worthy, because I need to fill in that lack. And it's like being on the hamster wheel.
Yes.
Because once you fulfill that job or that relationship, there's something that lack is still there. So you reach out for the next thing, and then you get that, and then the next thing, your next thing, and you're never present in this beautiful moment, where life can only happen. I mean, love, transformation, the ending of I'm over here, my husband's there, and I've got something to protect. All that. At least in my experience, it can only happen in this moment. Not 2 minutes from now. No. So that is the insanity.
Yes.
Of this dream that we have, thinking that we're not whole.
In the moment.
Or ever. That's the illusion. Because we still need to feel this. It's the next thing. It's always the next thing, and you die. That's the next thing.
And it's over.
So it's just insane. It's insane. And for that ego, once, and I'm just talking about my own experience, once that ego reaches a certain plateau, and it's not, you can't win. Whatever it is that you're up to can't win, and that's when we turn to books like that.
Yes.
When there's no, in your capacity, in your resource, whatever you think it's not being fulfilled.
Yes.
And so it's got to be spirituality.
Yes. Because you hit bottom, you can't win. You finally admit you can't win with the path you're on. You might get depressed. And when you get past the depression to where you think you get bored of depression, you really think you can't win, then you might turn and try something else. But it ain't much sooner.
Can I just say one other thing?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. My scenario is that it's funny because of what you said a few minutes ago about, so you're inspired by your spirit, it has no limits, you can imagine this. And then in the moment that your life begins to shift, and you're tasting, you're smelling it, you're almost there to reach that something that you wanted to obtain. All of a sudden, screw spirit, right? Because I've got what it takes. I can make it happen. Very dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very common, too.
Yes.
Isn't that where humility comes in? Not humility like humility like they talk about it in here. Like when you reach that place where you think you have it, right, and then you don't need this, And it's really unconscious. It's not even conscious. I mean, that's my experience too. But there's a sense of when I'm letting go of that, and I'm not in this, but I'm like kind of trance in between. The awareness of spirit, the awareness of that there's sort of a sense of humility that I just don't know.
The humility in
Do
the
you
course,
get what I'm
yeah,
saying?
the
I
humility in
just
a Course
don't
in
know.
Miracles is different from the humility of the
Yes.
world. And the humility in the Course in Miracles is when you start feeling better, you recognize that you're coming into love, into oneness.
Mm-hmm.
You say, I am the light of the world. And this is actually a humble thought. To the ego, it's hubris.
Mm-hmm.
Of Course in Miracles, if you were to get that idea straight, you actually are the light of the world.
That's a lesson.
It's a lesson, yeah. It's enlightenment because you are starting to join with the universal light instead of the separate competing world. So it's very humble for you to recognize the truth about yourself. You're an extension of God, not another ego.
I know my source in that moment. I'm aware of my source.
Yes, and that is actually humble, that you admit what you are in truth. And not this fantastic, made-up, special, hungry, escaping ego.
Just one light. And I can see it as a, you know,
Yes.
it's like light all blend, right? So a candle power, you have like one candle is
Yes.
lit and then another candle is lit. And you, when there's 100,000 candles,
Yes.
you can't tell one from the other. It's
Yes.
just one light.
No, that's great. That's a great example. Because a candle, the flame burning over here,
Looks separate from this one.
yes. Now, there are two flames. Jason says, yes, count them, 1, 2. I told you I could count them. And they're special and they're separate. But Marion says, flame is flame. What you got there is flame. When you recognize that your flame is burning hot, not because your candle is special, but because flames burn hot and that's how they work. And as you align yourself with flames, flame itself, rather than this candle burning, that is empowerment and understanding of all the other flames. Before it was just your candle you knew about. God, I hope I get it lit.
It's personal.
It was personal and separate and private. Course in Miracles is showing us that this private thing is an illusion. The separate thing is an illusion. The idea that somehow you are special and your problems are individual and nobody else has had them. That's depressing.
That is depressing.
He says, don't worry, it's not true. It's not true.
Where is it?
He says, you're actually not separate.
Even though the illusion is very different.
Yes.
That's the struggle that I have.
Okay. Nothing here is constant except change. That's what keeps it constantly shifting, so you have to get more and it changes. As soon as you get it, they have to. Now you've changed. You got the goal you wanted from 10 years ago, but you don't really want it as much. You've changed. And it changed. Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of find going through pain challenging.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Going through it.
Yes. Masako has an answer for you.
Stop.
She says, she would say, based on what she just said a moment ago, she'd say, when you are in the future, you think the pain could get worse. When you're in the past, you regret having had all the suffering you've come through. But when you're in exactly the moment right now, There's no suffering. Suffering takes time. This is what meditation would teach you. Coming into being present, being really still. You get your om, in between the om, in between the vibration of your voice, there's stillness. You get there. You will not suffer.
So does our ego capture the and then there's still the past? But isn't that the tail of the tape of where you came and where you entered and
okay, perfect. You got us into tonight's reading. Thank you. Perfect question. Perfect question. Okay, so now turn to page 355 in the text.
355 in the text, please.
Yeah, John. We need you, John. Until you say it, nobody knows what page it is.
355.
So we're on 355, paragraph 5, the very bottom of that page. Michaeline, you want to read it for us?
Sure. How can the Holy Spirit bring his interpretation of the body as a means of communication into relationships whose only purpose is separation from reality? What forgiveness is enables him to do so. If all but loving thoughts have been forgotten, what remains is eternal, and the transformed past is made like the present. No longer does the past conflict with now. This continuity extends the present by increasing its reality and its value in your perception of it. In these loving thoughts is the spark of beauty hidden in the ugliness of the unholy relationship where hatred is remembered, yet there to come alive as the relationship is given to him who gives it life and beauty. That is why atonement centers on the past, which is the source of separation, and where it must be undone.
Here you go, Mario.
For separation must be corrected where it was made.
Here you go, Mario.
Thank you.
The past is particularly heavy. Okay, so we just read this paragraph here. Okay. So we're going to turn back a page. It starts on the bottom of the previous page. So 355, we have one sentence to read here. So how can the Holy Spirit bring his interpretation of the body as a means of communication into relationships whose only purpose is separation from reality? Oh, it's a mouthful, for sure. The whole book is a mouthful. Okay, anyway, no exceptions is an exception. That's true. Yeah. But what he's saying here, this is called the shadows of the past, this section. Remember, we're talking about shadow figures. Shadow figures are the belief in individual problems and that personalities can be problems. That people's behavior, like the drunkard or like the selfish person or like the rich person or like the Republican or like the Democrat, like the person with a psychological diagnosis, will take your peace. Not can, will. That's a shadow figure. You're carrying it from your past where you had seemingly proof. Why was it proof? Because you cried for 7 nights straight when this last time this happened. When you met somebody like this. The pain proved itself. I know it's true. These are shadow figures, and there's a ton of them. And when we go to a special relationship, we kind of check for those things. Make sure that they're not present in this new one that's supposed to make me happy. That's your job. If I say those 3 magic words, I'm holding it back until I'm sure. And from that point forward, you shall perform. I'll make it easy. I'll make sure that you're not like my ex. Woo. Now, so the body is the penultimate tool tool and symbol of separation. Course in Miracles hits this really heavy in chapter 27. Going into chapter 28, it's the hero of the dream. The dream. You know the analogy that, spiritual setup, that we're all dreaming in the world, we're dreaming of separation. We're dreaming we're not extensions of God. Well, the hero of that dream is your individual separate body that can be special and can have more. Yes, yes, yes. This book says, well, you know what, the Holy Spirit's help, we can take what you so heavily believe in and you so worship as an idol to separation. Same thing. And we'll use it to show you separation's not real, which we said earlier. The Holy Spirit will help you translate your beliefs that have you by the neck. They have you by your mind. And they have you by your heart. Keeping you separate. Bringing you depression. Because you actually believe they're real. Mm-hmm. You come into this room, you say, I'm tired of that. I want another way. Good. Holy Spirit's job is to show you that other way. But not with something foreign, with a reinterpretation of exactly what you believe to be true. Course says I found the problem.
And it's you.
That's good news, because we can fix it. It means you can fix it when you choose. You don't have to pay anybody. You don't have to wait.
And you're not a victim if you could fix it.
And you're not a victim if you can fix it. You're a victim if you keep hurting to yourself. You're a victim to yourself now. Before Course, BC, you're a victim because that bastard is the way they are. And nobody should have to endure it. And that's why I'm so unhappy, is because that person over there is the way they are. Or I unfairly got this problem with my knee or with my cancer. Or I didn't get a proper education. Nobody paid for it. And now here I am stuck in this terrible job. Barely make my rent. Before Course, those are all the problems. Of course. Nobody should have to put up with what you have to put up with. That's your best friend. God, I love when you tell me that. I feel like I'm not alone. Oh yeah, you are so screwed with your upbringing and your lack of education, and it's a wonder that you can pay rent anywhere. I hope you find a better way. Good to see you. Bye. Sucks to be you. Bye. That's your best friend. Actually, that's the best. They don't say those words, but that's the effect. They're commiserating.
I think I'm done.
Yeah, and for a little while you feel good about it. They do. They think them. You bet they do. For a little while you feel good about it, don't you?
But then you feel
no. They understand me. They agree with me. They support me. I feel a little better. Boy, you just found a whole new reason to be depressed because somebody validated your weakness. They did. Course in Miracles says, look out for this. Look out for false empathy. Look out for this idea of sharing with somebody's commiseration with their illness. It's just going to make it stronger for both of you. So, anyway,
what's that again?
That's another chapter. where you commiserate in somebody's illness. You go in and put your hand on their shoulder as they're laying in their bed. First, yeah. And you say, wow, this is horrible this happened to you. Thank you. You say thank you to that? Yep, thank you for understanding how hard this is on me. Oh, I understand how hard it is. Let me tell you how hard it was on me when I did it. You better hope it doesn't get as bad as mine got. Don't you feel better? It didn't get to the 4th stage like mine?
I'll have a question for you then.
Mm-hmm.
So, somebody comes to you and they go, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, whine, here's my story. What do you say instead?
What you do is as your healed mind, okay, if you want to abandon with, we all know what the ego would do. What do you do? What will Course in Miracles have you do? That's the question.
See them as whole.
Yes.
Don't buy into what they're saying. See them as whole.
Yes.
See them as healed, because that's the truth.
If you could hold that vision of them as they're speaking and see them.
Yep. That's all you have to do. Move your mind away from agreeing with their separate, private hell. There aren't magic words. We certainly don't show them the book.
Well, you have like an example. I mean, what does that sound like?
Yeah. So the last time I did it, it was a pretty serious problem. I'll just tell you what I did. So there was a woman, one of my customers, and she had a very terrible problem in her family. And there was a loss of life, and she was rather unconsolable. It was a relative of her, young relative in her family. She's a couple generations down. One of the young children had died. And there was a very black time in her family. And so here I am. I'm studying life in Course in Miracles. And I'm in awe of life. And here's somebody who's drowning in death. Nobody's little child. Her daughter's daughter should not be dead today. She's just distraught. She can't make sense of it. But here she is talking to somebody. And I said to her, I looked her right in the eye. Hey, sometimes living sucks. But isn't life beautiful while you have it? And she shook her head and said, well, yeah. When she remembered the 8 years that she had with that kid, she took a nice breath. I saw her. So I just kept my focus. I didn't disagree with her.
You didn't jump in there with her either.
Didn't jump in with her either. I didn't support what she was doing. I didn't deny it either.
Okay, and on the flip side, when you're saying this, you might not be whining and pissing and moaning, but okay, this happened to me today, and that happened, and somebody insists on saying, "Oh, that must be so hard for you," or and you go, "Well, actually, not really," because. But and then they say, "No, I want to acknowledge how difficult that is." What do you say to that?
Yes.
Wow,
You
how resilient you are.
Well, yeah, I just told you it was a problem. Yeah. This is very simple. Maybe it sounds too simple, but it's very deep. Everybody has their question? How do you treat somebody who wants to console you and really wants to be there for you and say how hard things are? Which is kind of a depressing thought, right?
This is a person that's been through a bunch of group therapy and AA and all that sort of stuff, and it kind of comes out formulaic. So I'm okay.
Yes.
But
it's practice. It's formulaic.
I'm not feeling bad. How come you're feeling bad for me? I'm not feeling bad.
Okay, so I'm not sure what you do first. First, you should have compassion for them, because what they're feeling is a burden in your presence, and they don't know what to say. So they're saying what they think is the most loving, kind, responsible thing to say. Or maybe what they've been trained to say. By that last seminar they paid a bunch of money for. Yeah, here's how you handle it. You say these three things. First, you have compassion for them. That's private. That's inside. It means you don't try to correct them. And next, you say these key words. These are so powerful, we should talk about them every time we meet. There is a key phrase. I just told you a moment ago there isn't, didn't I? It's not really in the book. I mean, it is, but...
Thank you.
Thank you. You got it.
High five.
The key phrase is
That's
thank
the only
you.
response to your brother is thank you.
Yes. This is what the book calls it. The only response to another ego, to another brother, is thank you. Gratitude is the only response. When you have a healed mind, it comes easy.
Nobody can fight with you when you say thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even if they yell at you, thank you.
Now, when you have compassion first, okay, the thank you will be honest. This is like I always want you to have a miracle before forgiveness, because then forgiveness is honest. If you go straight for forgiveness and skip the miracle, you know what you're doing? It's lip service, and you're just trying hard, which is applauding and all, but you wonder, why does it keep happening when I forgave it yesterday? Well, that's why. Why would thank you be a short gap filler and not a healing as I'm telling you it is, it's because you forgot compassion. Compassion means you meet somebody where they are. When you have compassion first, whatever you say will be more natural. It will be honest. It is the essence of love. You have entered into a loving relationship. When you have compassion, which is a miracle, shift in perception, right? And then thank you. Thank you is a very powerful thing. It has the essence of love in it because when you say thank you, you are simultaneously giving and receiving. Masako, thank
Returning
you.
to love.
You are giving and receiving. That's the law of love.
So you're giving yourself love. You're putting love in your life.
Mm-hmm. When you say thank you, are you not thanking somebody
You're
for
receiving.
receiving?
By receiving.
Aren't you? Why would you say thank you if you didn't say something or give me something or
So you already
show
got
up
a
or
shift or turn around.
do something? Hold the door for me. Something happened. Something happened.
You're acknowledging that gift.
Yes. Which means you're receiving it. And I'm telling you that I received it. So I'm giving you this beautiful gift.
It's beautiful, Angela.
Thank gratitude. And what I'm really giving you is support, appreciation, acknowledgement. You're not worthless. At least as long as you hold the door open for me, you're not worthless. But still, it's something. And you're going to feel good for a moment. Yeah, I know that because I know when people thank me how it feels. We're talking about feelings here. There's no thoughts. We're not talking about thoughts and analyzing and saying the right
so
thing.
powerful.
Right?
You just said it's very powerful. Yeah. It works.
Turns out it's math of truth. To give is to receive just as you gave. Well, you don't have to say those 3 magic words that ends up with the ring and going down the aisle with rice. You can say 2. It's a lot cheaper. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya. Didn't want to be ya.
Right. That's what you do. That's what you do. Compassion first.
And if they take it as an encouragement to keep thinking of you as a victim, that's kind of their business, huh?
Yeah, and you know what? They'll think that you got it. They'll think you got their message, and they'll probably go quiet. They'll say, well, good. I'm glad you're on your path to recovery like me. Okay, thank you. Thanks again.
I'm glad they helped you so much.
Yes. And for them, they probably did. Yes.
So, what did you say to the woman again about how sometimes life sucks? And then what did you say?
You know, I told her,
Living sucks.
yeah, I said, God, living can suck, but life is beautiful.
That life is beautiful.
Life is beautiful. And it is. There's no example of life that is life. Not a flower, not a child, not even the most beautiful little.
I have something that helps me a lot that I remember when I'm with someone in distress is that they are truly not what they're saying.
Say that again.
Say that again.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
They are not what they think they are. They're not what they're saying. They're not what they're experiencing. That's not truly who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I be with them, I be with them in who they truly are and not that. And a lot of times I don't really have to say anything. And it brings... I don't know why this happens, but I'm with people a lot who experience loss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of where I end up. And that's one thing that I know when I'm with them. They are not their boss. They're not their issues, the things, the feelings, the emotions that they're
Especially because
That's really good.
there's so much proof for that. Because you wouldn't want somebody to say, Michaeline, I'm going to judge you to be entirely on what you are about to say 10 minutes from now.
Right.
I don't even know what I'm going to say. I might be mistaken. I don't do that. How about what you said 3 days ago? No, not that either. I know I don't want to be, so don't do it to anybody else. And when we do A Course in Miracles, we find out Nobody is upset for the reason they think.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's true for you, and in that lesson, I think by the time you do lessons 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you do 5, I'm never upset for the reason I think, you're like, I got to surrender to this truth. That I give everything I see all the meaning it has for me. That's where the meaning
That's
came
the big
from.
one.
And
That's where it came from.
Up here.
From my past beliefs. And then I judged it. And I decided that it was bad. Even if it is bad, you still had to do the math and compare it to what you saw on TV or what happened in the last relationship and say, yeah, there it is again. It came from you. You can't argue with this. Nobody comes inside your head and gives you these thoughts.
It also allows a sincere gratitude, because the sincere gratitude comes from the learning of what they're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing I'm not separate from that.
Right. Yes, you go through the same process. Course in Miracles will have you say, be grateful for your strength and your ability to choose peace, and be compassionate for another who has not yet traveled all the steps you have.
And it's like Jesus being, and our Holy Spirit experiencing what we experience to help us move through things.
Makes a quality teacher. I've been in your shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus, you know.
And it's sincere. It's not just, you tell somebody, I did this happen to me. It's not about that at all.
But when
It's
you
the
continue
feeling.
when you continue giving the ego a black eye, and you're learning from it every step as we go, but he's still present. But I'm saying, but
Even during the ugliness.
no, I'm saying even during the joyfulness.
Yes.
I mean, he's there all the time.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
I'm just finding him like I'm beating him up. Okay, I got it. Boom. I don't know. I'm just.
That's good, because that means that at any minute, if you're unhappy with what is happening, in other words, you're depressed, you can go to the present moment and discover your good buddy. Good. Masako.
Oh, I love this conversation we're having, because what I heard was that since love is real and there's nothing out there that's not love, and you don't need someone's approval, right? So here you are, you recognize in that moment that, oh my God, my perception is off, or, it's this mental thing, and you correct it, and all of a sudden, it's like you see this other human being also as love. Right?
It's very powerful.
And it just like, when that transformation happens, that love just burns everything up. All those illusions. So, yeah.
That's how it is, Masako.
Because you catch
That's how it is.
Is that because you catch yourself and know it's a misperception as soon as you're not seeing it as loving? You tell yourself the truth. And then you go to compassion.
Yeah, I'm at a point, there's no words anymore. I just react and I know. It's like, oh, okay, thank you. It's not like I say no. You don't say, oh my God, I need to stop the car because it's yellow now. but it's all a practice, over and over and over.
Yes.
So,
New habits. New habits, a new addiction is taking hold.
And then you don't respond.
An approved
to
addiction.
the person in that.
no, because it's all love. Right. Their love, your love.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to respond to.
Yeah.
So
So in the spiritual pursuits, pick your choice, whatever spiritual path you choose. There are tools, mantras, books, thoughts to have, and practices to do. Lessons to do, right, daily, hourly. So that you have some effort to discover that the truth is true all the time. And only the truth is true. That all the apparent falsities are not actually true. Apparent falsities are not true. And such things as, if you go still, if you can be in the present moment, it's chill, everything's good. That's like a truth. All these paths have different ways to lead you to that little discovery. When you practice that discovery in a variety of situations, it's like picking up a new habit. You know the truth is you could be at peace.
Thich Han says something like, he says, if you're not in the present moment, you've missed your appointment with life.
Nice.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I like
That's
that.
great.
Thank you, Ray. Thank
I
you.
want to write that down.
I have a question. I've been, things float through my mind anyway, and I was thinking about, I was in Italy, and I saw like the Last Supper kind of things, and I'm thinking of the bread and the wine, and thinking the bread represents the body, and I drink my blood, eat my body, that kind of stuff, for the and the Catholic Church has carried that theme all the way through, and I thought, oh, wait a minute, the body kind of represents the ego. It seems like it's why would he be sharing the ego?
Yes. That's a perfect question for this paragraph.
That's a beautiful question.
Ray, you're right on it. This is so great you brought that in here. Because that's exactly what this paragraph is dealing with, is how can the Holy Spirit perform the promise of this book, which is the body's purpose is communication.
Yeah.
But isn't the body's purpose the center of the ego?
Right.
It's the thing that punches and that hurts. You get rid of bodies, no more punching. Okay, is that true? Can't get hurt if you can't get swing a fist.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, so we have the reason why that theme has held on so strong is because it can reach many levels of consciousness, especially the lowest levels that are coming in out of the cold. They are hungry and their heart is full of hate.
That's good. Nice point. Thank you.
They can relate to that. It gives them hope and they feel a little lighter for having something passed to them and said, eat this, it will nourish your body and your soul. That's exactly what I need. And it is.
Yeah.
And it is.
At that level one, that's you're meeting them where they are. Huh?
Another little
That was good.
little thought, if you don't mind. It's like, in 1957, I was stationed over in Germany, and my sister, she wrote me. She said, "Would you go to Lourdes and bring me back some water from Lourdes?" I said, "Oh, geez, it's like 400 miles."
So I went to
It's not across the street or anything, So I thought, what? The Trader Joe's instead went down to the closet. No. So I thought, oh, okay. So I went to Lourdes. I don't know if people know what Lourdes is. Okay. So it was a place where Bernadette had an apparition of the Blessed Mother and 17, 18, or 19 times, and out of this created this spring that was supposed to be like a holy water or a healing water or something like that. So anyway, I went there and I got some and I brought it back and I said to my sister, and I thought, when I was like 21 or something, I thought, it's interesting, but I don't know what the hell this all means. But while I was there, it was a little more organic than it was. I was just recently there. They had mounds of wheelchairs and crutches and all kinds of prophylactic devices and things. I mean, huge. I mean, as big as this building, several of them, And there were people saying the rosary and worry beads. Everyone had their own kind of little thing they were saying there. But anyway, I looked at all those mounds and things, and over the years I thought, I wonder what that was about, If I ever go to Europe again, I want to go there just to look at it again, get some more water or something like that. So I did. I went there. All the mounds of prophylactic devices were gone. I thought, well, how come? I mean, I didn't have anyone to ask. I mean, I didn't speak Spanish or French. So, anyway, there's a big cathedral there. There's an entranceway. I don't know if anyone's been near that, but there's a huge entranceway. It's like a football field with cobblestones, and it's a walkway into this area. And there's a grotto there, the original grotto, where the water comes, where the spring comes from. And they have it channeled into about waist high, into kind of a tubing with faucets on it, where you could get this water if you want. And people were splashing themselves with it, and drinking it, and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't as meaningful because I didn't see all those prophylactic devices in there. I thought, what did they just take those away for? I mean, I don't know what the problem was. But it's like, something happens here. Something happened to those people. I mean, they wheelchaired themselves in and walked out. Put their crutches in, or their cane, or whatever they had, and left, So there are people from all over the world there visiting this place because of the promise, I think, of that powerful connection, or that powerful belief, or that universal alignment, or the spiritual alignment. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, I don't know what it is.
Yes. Okay, so here's what it is. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, here's what it is. The same thing reading this book. This is just a book. That river's just a river. This book comes with a certain story. It says a certain promise.
Yes.
That river comes with a certain story. It has a certain promise.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
So just like any page here, any sentence here, when you read it, first time, it's very shallow, simple.
Yep.
It's a concept. 21-year-old kid.
That's right.
Sister says, hey, here's the address. Here's the main streets to get there. Please bring me some water. How do you spell it? That's what the kid said. 21 years old. Yeah. But why, sis, am I going to go 800 miles for this? Brother, here's why. And maybe she's got a little tear in her throat. She says, please, this could be the answer for me. Do you love me, Ray? Yes, sister, I love you. Of course I do. And you'll do this thing for me. Well, now this concept is raised up a little bit. He's kind of curious now. Any sentence in this book, that's what we do in this room every Thursday. We raise these things up from being printed letters on a page to being a message from the Holy Spirit. And Ray was getting the message from somebody who really had a high thought. So that concept moves up to a belief. A belief. Ray has now believed in a little bit. The sister believes a lot. But he said, you know what? Maybe there's something to it. I don't know. He gets there and sees a pile of wheelchairs, a whole pile of crutches. He takes a deep swallow. And his mission was not a waste in that moment, for sure. Because now his belief has gone up. Something's happening here. You heard him. Something's happening here, he says. Don't we say that with Course in Miracles?
Yeah.
Something happens when I read these pages. I'm not as angry anymore. I sleep better. I feel like helping out. I feel like there's another way. Same with the Lord's. So the belief is set. He's seen the wheelchairs. We all have had little bits of happiness, little bits of enlightenment from reading this book. Now, what's the next step? The next step goes beyond belief. The next step is faith. What is faith?
Belief in action.
What is faith?
Believe in things unseen.
Well,
it's one level higher than the belief. It's kind of like you're trusting.
It's trust.
yes, it's right. If it's not proven,
Believing in things unseen.
this is why it's a belief. It's not known.
Without your senses having to
Okay.
be there, trusting.
That's just like, like I do the teletypes like with the Bible. Like you just said it right there. What was written. And I read the gospel, something about the Word becomes flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And then last week I go, you want to see Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know?
There he is.
You know, and so it all,
Apparently Jesus doesn't wear glasses, by the way. But
Yes, Jesus does.
oh, well, put him back on.
Well, put it back on.
No, but I'm just saying, it's just that I'm finding this whole other level of
Yes.
just like you mean that
Yes.
on the beach.
Right. Right. The whole other level, that trumps the previous level. It trumps those lower thoughts. It trumps the concept, the thing that you tried to memorize. Now that you saw the wheelchairs and the pile of crutches and all those people who were madly trying to get to that water, they know something. So he says, say you come in this room and you hear us passionately loving this book and reading it and wanting to memorize these phrases. And what does that mean? I feel something about that. What does it mean? We're getting into another level.
You're ascending the stairs.
You're ascending
Right,
the
right.
stairs.
And in the
Exactly.
beginning, you know,
Yes.
this book was like, not that. I mean, not this one, but I mean, I can't say how many times I've thrown that book across the room. Oh, man.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Yeah.
No, the hardcover.
The one that makes a difference when you throw
It doesn't have to cover anymore.
it. Yeah. The Waldenter version. The
I've
Waldent
got one
edition.
better.
Please.
When every time I pick up this book and it says love, I used to get physically sick.
Yeah.
I couldn't stomach it. You know, okay, another time, another year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it took me, let's see, 84, 94. It took me about 18 years to get into a group. When we started this,
Yeah.
this group here in 98 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That's great, Masako. Yeah, oh yeah. Uh-huh. They'll put so many people pick the book up and then put it back on the shelf for 3 to 5 years.
Yep.
And the way Ray got into the book is he was somewhere, maybe Carmel, I forget where, and the book fell off the shelf and hit him.
Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite. I was out at S1, 1984. And there was a post like this, little stanchion, and it had 3 books on it. And I'm eating there, and I'm looking at those things. What the hell are those? I mean, they're not menus. Are they guidance for the staff? You know, are they? What are they? A Course in Miracles. Holy shit! Who the hell's got the balls? Right.
Jumped out at you. Wow.
You gotta open that cover.
So I bought, like 4 sets,
Wow.
Sent it to my sister, one of my sisters, and then my nephew, and one for me and another friend.
So look at this staircase we're talking about. Look at the staircase with the water at Lourdes or A Course in Miracles. Concept goes into a belief, which has some meaning to it, some promise to it. Mm-hmm. And now the next step is faith. Faith is where you take action based on a belief. The belief is the unknown, the unseen, the unproven, the uncertain. But you're going to do it anyway. That's faith.
Mm-hmm.
That's faith. Look, if you knew it, if you already owned it, if it was so simple that you'd done 1,000, it's not faith. It's not faith. No, faith is when you actually step out of the old and you try the new. You actually go toward the promise and you try it. With some hope,
You
okay.
don't say, I can't.
Uh-huh.
There's no such thing.
You're going to put both feet in.
You just do what is in front of you. Chocolate carrot water. Just do it.
You decide to execute on the belief as though it were true. As though
As
you
though it
knew.
was true.
You're going to do it now with your body, your mind, your mouth, and you're going to invest fully. Just now, we got a big gray area of faith, okay? Right? Forget all that. You got the idea. When you decide, you will now be healed by that water. This is it.
Yeah, it's just like talking about how cancer, I mean, that you, if you have cancer, you actually brought it on, or your thoughts are created, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you use a lot
I mean,
of?
that's the essence of what it's saying.
I just want to share something with you since we're talking about that bread. But anyway, you can open it. It has something to do with the body. No, but it has Advil in it.
John.
That's fine you mentioned it.
It's for the body.
I get emails from the Church of Jubilee over the hill. I used to go there for a while. And the pastor sends out emails, and there was one on faith today. And it was about, was it Peter that got out of the boat to walk on water for a little bit? And it's funny, it just came right up as you're talking, it's like nobody else believed anything. And you just got to, get out of your comfort zone and have the strength and fortitude to try it,
No one could see those
So that
stones.
was-
Yeah, right.
And it was coincidental that all of a sudden you started talking about that. It's just kind of
Got to get out of your comfort zone. That's right.
right.
Yes. Yes. Good. Yeah. Well, so it's true with everything we're learning here with Course in Miracles. These forgiveness, these miracles, you got to actually do it.
Yeah.
Like we read last
Just
week.
like that walk. I felt like I was out of prison.
Yes.
And I was just like, wow. And then I thought about this body, and I'm thinking I have to take care of this body too.
Yes.
And so I was aligning, the spirit, me,
Yes.
in this body, and I'm walking on the beach saying, beach front property.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, but it was very joyful.
Well, these are what awakenings are like. Awakenings are where you have some confidence to get out of your comfort zone and try it a different way.
Sometimes you don't have, sometimes there doesn't seem to be a choice. Sometimes, I don't know, maybe I'm choosing unconsciously, but
If you prepare
if I go
enough,
to a situation that I've experienced before, a lot of pain and anxiety, and I'm having to go back to that experience again, and I don't want to do the pain and anxiety, that means I have to have faith and do my practice and go to that place where I was before, and then I don't have the pain and anxiety. I have some shadow, maybe. I don't know.
Right,
but
shadow figures.
But it's different. It's just different.
most often that's what we hear with the stubborn among us.
Yeah.
Course in Miracles took 6 years before the person can say out loud, "My life is better."
Yeah.
It's
6 years?
I just picked the number. It's usually not right away. I mean, there's a big bump right away, huge bump right away, because you got something that's more powerful than you've ever held before. I mean, there's a huge high, but then pretty much it drops from there. As you start to have to do the work and read, and even be depressing when you start the lessons, first 40 or so, kind of tells you how screwed up your mind is. I'm the problem. Yeah. You can go down. Had you not read the text ahead of time, which is such a foundation, no human could possibly write that text in 100 years, much less an atheist in 7 have heard it. I mean, whoa. It got some momentum going for me. I pushed those to the workbook lessons because I'm like, wow, I know that this book is loaded with truth, and there's another page. I'm turning it. I was so empowered by the time I got to the workbook that the healing can occur. That you have to get in you're willing to go out of your comfort zone to try it. And as I like to say, be willing to try it, because if you don't like it, your misery will be gladly refunded.
That's right.
Bill W. The Bill W.
Yeah.
1934. He called it a bright flash.
Yep. Awakenings are in an instant. This is also the holy instant. That's why it's a holy instant and not a holy minute.
Yeah.
Hey, Jesus, how about some holy hours? He says, hours are not real. Minutes are not real. And if you're looking for those, you're back in the ego.
Yeah.
It's the flash.
Yeah.
That is never forgotten.
Right.
That is closer to truth than a whole hour of bliss. Much more powerful. Because it's out of time. And we're closer to truth. So thanks, Ray. Yes, yes, indeed. That's how that's the real awakenings are. They're like that.
Yeah, because like I said yesterday, I just felt like I just stepped into it. And I kept on traveling. I didn't think, my intention was not to go walk an hour. I was just wanted to kind of just get my feet wet, and come back.
Yes.
And, I don't know. It's just like I lost it.
Yes.
It was just beautiful.
Yeah, I forgot which of these big spiritual teachers said that becoming enlightened is like an accident and you fall in a hole. And the enlightenment is that hole. You're just walking along, and boom, boom, you're in it. How did I get here? I wasn't looking, and here I am.
Right. It's not formulaic.
Not formulaic. You can't really practice and prepare for those flashes.
Right.
Well, this is the reason I'm here. I'm still coming.
Yes. What you're doing is removing the blocks to them.
Right, exactly.
That's what you can do and must do. That's what a miracle is. That's what forgiveness is. It deals with illusions. And you start dismissing them, and your life is a little better.
Yeah, like I just ended up there.
Uh-huh.
Just walking in that door.
So the goal is to become accident prone. The right kind of accident. That's what I'm after.
Fake falling in the hole, though.
Right. You just end up, you fall right in it. Yeah. Misako?
Well, for me, I spent years intellectualizing these books. And I wasn't going anywhere. But in the moment when I read them, it gave me goosebumps, right? And I was happy in that moment. And then I get into my life, I don't practice anything, right? So for me, that faith, I love that we talked about that, because that is like the bridge from your ego to the spirit.
Right.
Hello? She wasn't even here 2 weeks ago when we did the bridge.
Wow.
And that bridge, creating that bridge, it's under human control. Okay? And unless you practice it, and realize it in this physical form in your world, it's never going to stick. And so as I begin to do this practice over and over, and I'm seeing miracles and magic, right? And so now my faith, right, and my being open and willingness to play for more, not out of I want a relationship, I want a raise. None of that. But you can intend on those results. There's nothing wrong with it. So as you do these, and you see all kinds of things, and when you get them, you're in gratitude, and it just gives you that power to okay, wow, they knew what they were talking about. So now you have inspiration, and it all started from nothing, but other than, wow, okay, let's give this one a shot. It sounds great, but the whole key to that enlightenment and having a life that you love is that bridge. You got to cross over and practice over and over and over. And it's never the end, because transformational, there's no end, because it only happens in every moment. So you have to do it over and over.
Oh, that was really...
Over all the time. Otherwise, the ego is still waiting.
Like, I reached my goal. Okay, I've got it now.
Well, you know what happens? The ego steps in.
Right.
Yeah, when you let your guard down.
Yes. And as John pointed out, you're not doing the same thing over and over. Each time you're going up one step.
Thank you.
And when you stand on that next step, it may be close to the previous one, but it isn't. It's higher. You actually gain from each and every one of these practices. Maybe you can't notice it's much different than last time. But after 10 steps, if you take a moment to turn around and look backwards, you're way higher than you were before.
So it's like a whole other experience then, each one of those little, either a little one or a big one.
Yes.
There probably are no sizes, but it's another step.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Now you've moved me to the next point. Experience.
That's fun.
He used the word experience, right? You heard that? When you move your belief, move it with your commitment, that's faith. You actually act on it. You decide now, in your next, say, argument with a loved one that's just been so tough on this issue. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to defend, and I'm not going to attack. That's what lesson 23 says. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. I'm going to try it. I saw the concept on the page. I read it. I believe it's probably true because everything else in this book is blowing my mind. And now I come to lesson 23. It says I can escape from the world I see, which is pretty shitty, by giving up attack thoughts. Really, Jesus? I'm going to take you to task on this one. That means faith. I'm actually going to do it. I know it's going to be a big fight tonight, and I'm not going to attack. And I know from lesson 135, if I defend myself, I am attacked.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
I can do that math myself. So you know what, Jesus? I'm taking you to task. I'm going to do this. That's faith. Then you have an experience. In this book, if you come in line with the truth, you will experience the truth. Pretty simple. Maybe
in
really,
whatever
maybe hard.
form it takes.
Yes.
Because it's a different form than what I think it should be.
Mm-hmm.
It's a completely different form, different arena, different. You know, that's just.
Mm-hmm.
And we think this is the same Thursday as it was last week.
Oh, you're
Right.
here, Ray.
Yeah, you're different.
Every Thursday is Thursday, right?
Half truth.
The thing about practicing, and then you have to be mindful, right? You have to pay attention to your world. Otherwise,
It's gone.
so and my experience has been love expresses itself in so many different ways. Wow.
Oh, wow.
I mean, various, many ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you begin to realize, wow.
So now you have an experience of love expressing itself in many ways.
Many ways.
Ooh, how did that come about? Well, I decided to try this belief. I had faith. It's very personal, folks. Faith is very personal. You know what? I can't tell what you guys each believe, but I can tell what your faith is. That shows. It's very easy to see. You know what I'm talking about. That I can see. It's not a secret. You can't keep your faith a secret.
God is the light in which I see.
Yes.
That's important. I just thought this.
So now you have this beautiful experience. Things have changed. It's elevated now. We've come up some steps here for sure. You have an experience. The experience leaves you with a very personal knowledge. We've taken a concept, moved it from belief, and used faith to have an experience. And now we own something. We own knowledge of that love. We own knowledge of a release from a lifelong illness. Jesus says, your faith has healed you. Yeah, remember? He's walking in a big crowd. He's actually trying to get out of town.
Yeah.
Because he got himself in lots of trouble every time he went someplace and the people started you know what? Time to go, folks. You 12, let's go. And so he's on his way out of town, and a woman sees him and says, Jesus, it's Jesus. And she's making her way up, and she has this illness, but she just touches his robe. It's all she can get. And she says, thank you, Jesus. And he takes a moment to comment. He turns and says, woman, it's your faith that healed you. Now I got to go. But he meant it. That's what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Lord's.
Yeah, exactly.
So then the power of this is a change of mind. The experience that Masako beautifully explained is the holy instant that is living and experiencing my shift in perception and my forgiveness mechanisms that got me to actually try this, to give up the old way. And the holy instant is love coming out everywhere, she says. Whoa, this is different, and I like it. Yes. Now we have a truth. Now we have had enlightenment. Now we have certainly covered some stairs that made a difference. Hell yeah. Yeah. We have a couple of minutes. Let me see what else is in this paragraph. Because I've got to make progress, you know? Okay. Is that page? Yeah, page 356.
Page 356.
Thank you. In the text. Top of the page. Okay, so what forgiveness enables the Holy Spirit to change the purpose of the bodies from hate into communication. Forgiveness is that tool. That is the release of the old beliefs. Release. Release. Everybody say the word release 3 times. Release. 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 That is the essence of forgiveness.
Release of the old beliefs.
And release works when you're letting go of something of no value. It does not work when you put something down that's really valuable and that you love and you want back as soon as nobody's looking. You'll pick it back up. That's not release. And that's not forgiveness. That's why I say the miracle has to come first. The miracle is this understanding of something's value.
So there's really nothing that we can hold on to. You know?
Yes, Mario. High five. You can go home. You got it. You got it. There's really nothing to hold on to.
Have your watch.
You get his glasses because you just wears them. You want his colored glasses. When you can see there's really nothing to hold on to, you don't have to hold on to anything. You're free and easy. And whatever you're carrying at the moment doesn't mean you're holding on to it. It just means you have it for now. How different is that?
Well, when I was going through a hard time through my divorce many years ago, and somebody had told me, man, if you really love her, man, let her go. I didn't understand it. You know, especially through the separation and child support. And, you know, through all these different things, hoops I had to go through, and I just like, but it took a long time to understand what that really meant.
Yes.
But that meant everything.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Sentence 3. If all but loving thoughts has been forgotten, what remains is eternal. Isn't that nice? Loving thoughts are eternal. That's just a nice little phrase, because he's going to hit you over the head with the next couple. 4. He's buttering up. Yeah, a little pat. Yeah. And the transformed past is made like the present. The transformed past. This is the miracle's job. Bless you. Miracle's job is to transform the past into something that was thought to be real and heavy and effectual and throwing shadows on your present that you have to pay attention to. The transformed past is not. It can touch you not. That's a transformed past. An untransformed past is a prison. And it's a reminder of how thick the bars are. A transformed past is one that is just a fanciful dream, has no impact on you now going forward. You are hereby freed. Okay?
No longer does now does the past.
Read it, Ray. Read it for us.
Yeah, no longer does the past conflict with the now.
There you go. The past is no longer controlling or have any impact.
No more shadows.
No more shadow figures, no more shadows, no more requirements of you from the past.
That's free.
It never was.
That's right. This is the healed mind. It never actually was. It sure isn't now. You could argue and try to say, well, back, I circled the calendar when this terrible thing happened.
Shows me age.
What?
Like my body shows me time and age.
Yes.
Past. So we have all the statistics to prove that the past is present. It's not true.
But it's not true. That's right. We have huge arguments.
A 2-year-old or a 5-year-old, but
Yes.
the memory is.
Yes.
This is all connected to history and ego.
Yes. 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 Huge support for that. Whole systems of success that will say your past is what makes you what you are today. So this is how to know who you are. Let's look at your past.
That's what award dinners are all about.
Course in Miracles says, really what you're doing is you're describing your limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
You don't actually have limits. He says from the other side of this equation, having dropped his body, he says it ain't true. I know what you're thinking. I thought it, but it ain't true. You know what he calls it? What does he call it, Dick? He calls it a joke. He calls it, you know what, this whole idea that you are suppressed by your past, it's actually a joke on you. Jokes aren't true, see?
It's only so if you buy it.
Yeah. He said you should be laughing instead of crying.
That's right.
Yeah, this next sentence is really interesting too.
Read it for us.
Yeah. This continuity of the no longer does the past conflict with the now. This continuity extends the present by increasing its reality and its value in your perception of it.
And that's what Masako was talking about. She says, you're never going to get this until you start practicing now, and then now, and then now. Be present, be present. Try to be present twice in a row. That's how you go up a step. Yeah. Okay, I did it. I got present. No, do it again. Do it twice in a row. Yes, indeed. It's so true. It's so powerful. It's a benefit of meditation. It's a benefit of taking a moment for yourself to call yourself into the present. It's such a gracious gift only you can give.
Could you read the rest of that paragraph?
Would you please?
Oh.
You're on a roll.
In these loving thoughts is the spark of beauty hidden in the ugliness of the unholy relationship where hatred is remembered. Yet, there to come alive as the relationship is given to him who gives it life and beauty.
And he does this by transforming these thoughts that you thought were real. The same relationship, loaded with ugliness, gets transformed. Please continue. 8.
Oh, already continue.
Yeah, please continue.
That is why atonement centers on the past, which is the source of separation, and where it must be undone.
Got to read that sentence again because it's so important.
Yeah. That is why atonement centers on the past, which is the source of separation, and where it must be undone. For separation must be corrected where it was made.
We talk a lot about the past in this class.
Of course,
And that's why.
Must be corrected. where it was laid as a thought.
We're addicted to it. We're addicted to the past.
That's
It was
right.
made in the past. It was made in the thought of the past. Separation exists with thoughts of the past, defining us as separate beings with separate values, individual differences. It's all made up, and the specialness is a concept of the past we're trying to make true in the present and extend to the future. That's the dream of specialness. This is where separation was made in the past thoughts, which is why the atonement works with that very addiction. The past thought addiction, if we could somehow let that go, that would change everything.
But is this saying, can you let that go all at once, or do you need to go back to those past thoughts that were the source of your separation? And it's like I'm getting in, the whole therapy, go back,
It's a good.
experience that,
Uh-huh.
and outgrow it and atone for it.
It's a very good practical question. And the answer is, you must go back to at least one of them. Hold it, see it, and get advice from the Holy Spirit so you can let it go. And experience, says Masako,
The letting go.
the letting go and how powerful that was.
And then the rest are easy.
And the rest are easy. This is why the workbook says, let's look at the pencil, remember? The button, the cup. Jesus, you playing with Jesus? Jesus, I'm not some kid. And then he says, I know you think this is too simplistic. Well, yeah, you caught me there. He says, what you need to do is really experience this lesson on something simple thoroughly. And once you get a sniff of the power we're talking about, then and only then would you be able to generalize it. But that's what the book says. Let's get specific and successful, and then naturally it will generalize to everything. Take a deep breath. And now release it. You know what it takes to release a breath? Nothing. Nothing at all. Just stop breathing in. Stop holding on to it.
Stop holding on.
Okay, just stop that. And then release. It just goes off. It goes out by itself. The breath goes out by itself. That is the essence of release. That is the essence of forgiveness. If you stop putting blocks to the awareness of love's presence, peace presence, simple happiness presence, you stop blocking it, you just, there it is. All the clouds leave of their own. They release because they don't belong in your mind. They are not real. This is how you awaken. By waking up, you let go of the sleep. It leaves of its own. That's the word for tonight, is release. 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 And how do you release a breath?
Just let it go.
You just let it go by doing nothing. You were holding on to it before. Let it go. It will be gone. Thank you, Amen.
Oh man, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much.
You were great.
So happy you
Yeah, how are you?